What's up everybody, it's D-Swishy back with another YouTube video, and today I wanted to continue building on my series of how to be a better and more effective strategist, and the strategist I wanted to focus on for this video is Invisible Woman. Now Invisible Woman slash Susan Storm slash Sue is one of the strongest strategists in the game, and her kit's pretty straightforward, but I do still see a lot of people making mistakes and not using her kit to her full potential. If you take the time to understand just how strong her abilities are, you'll be that much more effective in your games. For me, Invisible Woman is my third most played character in the game, ignore those Luna minutes. And while I'm not the best in the world as playing her, I think that my gameplay and my rank can show you that I at least know what I'm talking about when I am playing her. My main goal in this video is to go through each of Sue's abilities and show you how to be using them to their max potential, and also at the end maybe talk about some favorable and non-favorable situations for her. Other than that, I don't really have much to say, so let's just jump right into the ultimate Invisible Woman guide. Now the first thing I want to talk about quickly is Sue's primary fire, or projection. It launches a force field that can pierce heroes, flying to a maximum distance before returning to Invisible Woman, damaging enemies and healing teammates. So what that means is when you're using your primary fire and you're shooting a teammate while also aiming at an enemy that's in front of them, your bullets are going to hit your teammate and the enemy and bounce back and hit them both again. It can be hard to see in the heat of the moment, but if you shoot one burst in the practice range like I do right here, you can notice it. The good thing about this type of primary fire is when your team is playing close together and brawling, you're going to get a lot of healing and damage just because your bullets are bouncing back like that. It also doesn't have any damage fall off, which is good, but it does have two weaknesses that you'll notice. One being that you can't do crit damage with headshots, which would honestly be too broken anyway, and two being that its max range is only 30 meters, so once you hit 31 meters, your bullets are not going to hit anymore at all. Overall, it's a really good primary fire, but you're going to notice some changes in its effectiveness depending on what your team is running, what the enemy team is running, and the maps that you're on. You'll definitely notice how strong it is when the teams are just close quarter brawling, but you'll also notice its dip in effectiveness when your team is playing very split up, or when the team fight is happening from very large distances. The next ability we can talk about is her Psionic Vortex. You gather psionic energy and then cast it, and upon hitting a target, scene, or pressing whatever key it's binded to again, it erupts into a Psionic Vortex, continuously drawing in enemies and causing damage. Now a lot of people may look at it as just another damage ability, but there's plenty of ways you can use it as a tool in game. One way I like to use it is when the enemy team is playing really grouped up, I'll throw it at them and activate it, and either it will do a lot of damage and give me a lot of ult charge, or it can cause the group to split up because a lot of people don't just like standing still and taking damage. Well, most people anyway. Another way I like to use it is when an enemy support or DPS are playing certain angles or playing a corner in the back, I like to throw it at them and pop it to force them out of that position that they prefer to be in. I especially like to use it this way against a Punisher setup on a turret, because when you throw it at him, it's going to damage him and the turret, which can help your team get rid of the turret faster and maybe even kill him while they're aiming for the turret. And then another way I use it that I've seen some people miss out on, when you throw it at a flying character, it forces them to drop out of the sky a little bit. It's not a super hard counter to flying characters, but it can take Storm and Johnny and Iron Man out of their flow a little bit, or it can even force them out of position long enough for your team to secure a kill on them. The last way I use it sometimes that I want to point out is when I'm getting focused by dive characters, I'll throw it in front of me and pop it and just play around it, and while I'm dealing with them and trying to fight them off, the vortex will be damaging them a little bit and sucking them in and slowing them, which can just be annoying to them and can help you stall long enough to survive or have a teammate follow up and help you kill them. Again, it's not a hard counter to these characters, but anything can help you out. I will say on a quick note though, be careful about using this ability against Iron Fist, because if you throw it and pop it immediately, he might have his block available and just build up all his overhealth, which is just going to be more of an annoyance to you. Try to wait till you know he's used his block already to use this ability against him. Overall, when you're using this ability, don't just always throw it blindly, but think about the ways it can help you fight off the enemies and be annoying. Now Sue's next ability we're going to talk about is Force Physics. You manipulate psionic energy to push or pull enemies in front of you, and when you use it, it does 55 damage. This ability has so many different ways that you can use it to be effective in a match. Also, quick side note here, I just realized that I didn't mention any of the cooldowns for the abilities, so just keep those in mind when you're using them too. One way I like to use this ability is to push the enemy team away when they're causing too much pressure. When your tanks are taking a lot of damage and the enemy team starts to try to walk right through them, you can push them back and it can buy your tanks time to get some extra healing and maybe reposition to a better spot like near a corner. You can also use it in the reverse way if your tanks are fine and pull somebody in who's overextended deeper into your team so you can secure a kill. Or if your team goes on the offensive and walks through a team very aggressively, you can use it in the same way. You'll be surprised by the amount of squishy characters and tanks you can catch off guard in these moments. It can also be really good with cleanup after a fight is over by pulling somebody who's trying to run away so you can confirm a kill, and it can help cause staggers by pulling back somebody who didn't fully commit to retreating, which can start the whole domino effect of teams never fully regrouping again. Force Physics can be good against dive too. For a good amount of dive characters, if you can spot them before they engage, you can push them and mess up their whole flow before they even get the chance to hit you. And even if you don't spot them before they do decide to engage, you can still push or pull them when they start attacking you and cause a lot of disruption. For example, if you can push a Black Panther at the right time, you can mess him up to the point where he doesn't get any resets, and sometimes, depending on how he uses his abilities, that can leave him as a sitting duck. You can push a magic or Psylocke away from you, which sometimes will make them use abilities to close the distance again, or you can just be annoying to Spider-Man. You can use the pull side of the ability to disrupt dive too, but I usually only do that when the character has their back towards me, or when they naturally waste all their resources and have no escape. Otherwise, if you pull them while they're actively attacking you, you might cause your death faster. Overall, these are all great ways to be using your push and pull, but by far one of its strongest aspects is being able to deny enemy ultimates. If you can push somebody at the right time, you can completely negate their ultimate abilities. For example, you're one of the biggest counters to Doctor Strange's ult to the point where he either has to try to be sneaky with it, or he has to keep track of when you use the ability. You can push a Scarlet Witch before her explosion can go off. You can push a Spider-Man before he gets to web anybody up. The timing's kinda weird, but you can push a Thor back the second before you think he's about to pop his ultimate. You can push an Iron Man back when he's using his, but be careful with it because you might just get somebody else killed. Or like Bucky, while he's in the air in the middle of slamming, you can't push him then. Once he hits the ground, you can push him back so he's not in close range to get the kill easier, or you can pull him into your team to try to secure the kill on him. Also, when you are pushing these characters back, be careful about where you're pushing them because you might end up getting some teammates killed. And definitely don't use your pull on most of these ultimates, especially Scarlet Witch and Iron Man, because you might just end up getting your whole team killed. You get the point though, when you're keeping track of these things in game, if you use your push against them, you can cancel out an ultimate with just an ability, which is a crazy trade-off. And one thing I want to mention while we're still talking about the ultimate side of this ability is that you can use your push or pull to enable your teammates' ultimates as well. Make sure when you have those teammates that have those AoE ultimates like a Moon Knight, you're trying to look for opportunities to push or pull the enemy into the range. Overall, this ability is all about denying things and being annoying, so make sure you're using it in these ways to be a pest in the game. The next ability we can talk about very briefly is Agile Strike. You release a 3-hit combo and the third attack will launch enemies in front. It's a nice little melee combo, but I don't really use it that much, so I don't really have anything to say about it. Now let's talk about Veiled Step. It generates a force field at your feet, and stepping on it propels you into an invisible state. It's a great escape move that can help you survive certain encounters, and it can help you reposition. You can use it if you time it right to dodge certain abilities and certain ultimates, and when you go invisible, it heals you over time. So if you find yourself in a situation where your other support can't see you or isn't there, you can hide and go invisible for a little bit to get your health back and then come right back to the fight. It's also another good ability to help you against dive, but you have to be careful with the timing of it. If you try to jump right as you're about to take another instance of damage or you're already getting constantly damaged, you're going to get revealed immediately and you won't be able to use that invisibility. For example, if a Spider-Man grabs you with his webs and launches himself towards you, if you jump too early, the ability is still going to track you and take you out of invisibility. Another example is when a Black Panther is attacking you and trying to get his resets. If you don't jump at the right time, one of his abilities can hit you and reveal you instantly, and then you're left as a sitting duck. I know split-second decision making can bring on a lot of pressure sometimes, but try not to always jump instinctively right away and think about the situation you're in before you do it. Especially if you're trying to use it to get away from ultimates, like Magneto's ultimate. If you jump too early and end up getting revealed before he even has the chance to throw his ultimate, you're kinda cooked unless you can get behind the shield. Or if you have a crazy teammate who blocks it with like Namor or something. Or say you're trying to deal with the Doctor Strange ultimate. In that instance, you probably do want to jump as early as possible if you don't have your push available. You gotta try and learn to have different timings with the ability in different situations, because when you do, it's gonna help you survive so many encounters. There is one more thing I do want to point out about the ability, but we'll get to that when we get to the ultimate section of the video. Now let's talk about Guardian Shield. It generates a force field in front of a selected ally, and the shield can block damage and provide healing over time to the nearby allies. And enemies that pass through the shield are slowed. It has 250 health and you can rapidly change it between targets whenever you want, but keep in mind when you put it away, the more damage that the shield has taken, the longer the cooldown is going to be to put it back out. This ability is great at enabling so many different character styles and archetypes in this game. When you have flying characters on your team, you can place the shield in front of them so they can be a bit more aggressive, or they can get some heals so you don't have to look at them directly and miss all your shots. You can use it on teammates that are playing high ground or off angles like a Namor or Hawkeye, so you don't have to worry about them getting melted while you're not directly with them. You can place it on certain teammates using their ultimates so they don't get blown up or get it cancelled. If you're in range, you can rapidly keep placing it on one of your dive characters so that they can get some spot heals and spot block damage. And it's even another strong tool that can help you and another support if you're getting dived in the back. If you and the other support are getting dived or pushed in the back, You can place the shield in front of them and both of you can play around it, getting healing from the shield as well as healing each other. And while somebody's trying to attack you, if they go through the shield, they're going to get slowed down. And all these things together can help you get out of the situation alive. You can also use the shield to help sustain yourself when your other support is dead. If in the heat of the moment the shield has enough health for you to just place it in front of another teammate and walk up to it, it can heal you up and potentially help you stay alive long enough to win the fight. It's best to try to do this with one of your teammates playing farther in the back though, so the shield doesn't just blow up immediately. And then again, the shield is another strong ability to help you deal with ultimate attacks. You can use it to straight up block some ultimates being used on your teammates, and for others, it can buy them enough time to survive or get out of the way. It can completely block Doctor Strange's ult, or Thor's ult, or Magneto's ult, or Iron Man's ult, Namor's ult if you're behind the center radius. And then for ults like Spider-Man, it can stop your teammate from getting webbed up completely. You can place it in front of a teammate getting ulted by Emma and maybe they can get around the corner fast enough. It can help you block some shots from Star-Lord's ult or a shot from Hela's ult, you get the point. It can help you do your best to keep yourself and teammates alive when you don't just have your ultimate available at the moment. Just try your best to use it to enable teammates and deny the enemy, and make sure you're also putting it away when nobody's using it. It's something I still struggle with sometimes in the middle of a game, but you're gonna have so much more uptime with the shield if you're making sure to put it away so it doesn't just get broken randomly. We finally made it to the heavy hitter of Sue's kit, her ultimate ability, Invisible Boundary. You manifest an unseen force field within a chosen area, rendering allies inside undetectable by enemies and providing healing over time, and when enemies pass through the field, they're slowed down. The ultimate pumps out large amounts of healing, 165 healing per second to be exact, and when it's cast, the enemy won't be able to see you unless they step into the circle. These things make it one of the strongest defensive ults in the game, up there with Luna and Cloak and Dagger. Now typically I'm almost always going to be using the ult defensively unless I build it so fast during a first fight. I pop it just because I want to secure the point and I know I can get it back fast again. It's good to be using it to counter the enemy's ultimate abilities, but it's also not bad to be using it sometimes just because everybody's getting critical and taking a lot of damage. Especially if you're keeping track of the enemy ultimates or you're using it on domination when your team has the point to stall. It's not guaranteed that you're going to lose the fight if the enemy ults right after yours ends, and drawing out a fight for a long time while you have the point secured can put you in a position where you only have to win like 1 or 2 more fights after that. I'm not going to go into too much detail about when you should be using your ultimate because I already did that in my Strategist tips video. There should be a link in the description and a pop-up on the top right of the screen right now if you want to see that, but I do want to point out some things about what you're doing when you use the ultimate. There's one thing I want to say to a lot of the Invisible Woman players I've run into, and that's to stop always jumping forward and placing your ult directly on the point or closer to the enemy team. Yeah, you right there in the blue shirt, I'm talking to you.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
There's too many times I've seen Invisible Woman players doing this at the worst time possible, leading to disaster. First of all, you don't have to jump to put the ultimate further ahead, you can literally move the circle before you cast it. Second of all, if you blindly jump forward and put your ultimate down or just put it too far ahead in general, some of your teammates aren't going to be in the ultimate and they're going to get focused and die before they can even make it in. I've been on the receiving end of this multiple times. Third of all, jumping forward to place your ultimate takes away one of your only escape tools, and if you're not careful, you can get killed while you're still in your ultimate. I promise you, if a good Magneto or Iron Man sees you jump into your ultimate and there's no shields around, you're cooked. Also, if you jump past everybody to place your ultimate down, the enemy team can still focus you and kill you inside of it. It's not just a whole get out of jail free card when your ultimate's down. Your whole team being inside of it with you is part of what makes it so strong. Try to stop always jumping impulsively to place your ultimate down. There's certain times it's okay, like having to get to the point before time runs out, or you're a late respawn and you need to place your ultimate on your team before they get destroyed. But please try not to do it every time, it's more hurtful than helpful. Having your jump still available when you use your ultimate can be so helpful because a lot of the times once you pop it, people are searching for you to try to kill you in it. Like I mentioned before, Iron Man and Magneto really want to get you out of there, and Wolverine especially is rubbing his hands together because he can pull you out of your ultimate and kill you just by using his. Sometimes after using my ultimate, I'll literally jump out, go invisible, and hide because I know people are searching for me. That way I can stay alive and my teammates can still use my ultimate, and then once the danger is gone, I'll start shooting and helping again. I know I probably keep saying this a lot, but be aware of the situation that you're ulting in, and be aware of what's going on around you when you ult. If you do jump forward and place your ult and some of your team is behind you, turn around for a quick second and heal them up so they can make it in without dying. And make sure you're not just blindly jumping into the whole enemy team, have at least like a tank in front of you or something. One more thing you do have to think about is how much health you have before you're ulting. If you're near critical health when you place it down, there's a chance you can get killed through that first burst of healing. I've had it happen to me before when an enemy Venom was ulting on us. I popped my ult a little bit before his, but I still got killed through it. No!
Venom is just diving me.
Yeah, he killed me through my ult. Alright, now there's only a couple more things we have to talk about. The first is her passive Covert Advance. You enter invisible state sometime after disengaging from combat and grant yourself healing over time. I already talked about the invisibility with other parts of her kit, so I'm not going to go into too much detail with this. After 5.5 seconds of not taking damage and not shooting, you're going to turn invisible and get healing over time. You won't be using the straight up passive by itself that much unless the fight is over, or during a fight you're hiding and waiting for some of your health to come back so you can go back in. Do keep in mind though, if you're standing on the cart trying to push it forward, if you turn invisible while you're standing on it, you don't count as a body and it won't move faster. Now the last part of Sue's kit we're going to talk about is her team up ability Fantastic Force. It just gives the other Fantastic Four members an ability that lets them get some shield generation and some damage reduction for a short amount of time. So just keep in mind when you are selecting your strategist that she does synergize very well with the other Fantastic Four members. And finally, that's Invisible Woman's full kit and how to be using it to its max potential. Remember, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, she's going to feel very strong when you're playing in matches where both teams are playing very close together and grouped up. You're going to be doing so much damage and healing that you're going to be generating ultimates just like that, and you're going to be able to do a lot with all of her abilities. When you're playing in matches that are very rangy or your team is split up, you are going to notice some difficulty in being just as effective. That doesn't mean you can't play her at all in those situations, but it will get frustrating sometimes. There's also a few things I just realized I forgot to mention in earlier parts of the video. The first thing is you can be using Invisible Woman's push to throw people off the map. And by that I mean using the invisibility to sneak around the enemy team and push them off the map when they're not suspecting it. If you are going to do it, keep in mind of what your team is dealing with at the time, because you might go around and push some people off and get some kills, but then by the time you turn around, you might see that your whole team is dead because you left them all and they didn't have any other support. Just make sure your team's going to be okay and you're not going to be gone too long if you're going to try to do these. The other quick note I wanted to mention is that if you get soul bonded, since the damage is getting spread across the whole team, when you try to jump and go invisible, you're most likely not going to go invisible since you're taking constant damage because of the soul bond. So that's just another little thing to try to remember if there's an atom on your team. Other than that, just make sure you're using your abilities the best you can, being a pest, pulling people out of position and denying space. Also, this should go without mentioning, make sure you're practicing hitting your shots, especially because the bullets bounce back. And once you do all those things, you should be a very impactful invisible woman. So anyways, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching all the way through if you're still here, and hopefully I was able to help some of you guys get better with Invisible Woman. I know playing support can be annoying sometimes because it feels like there's only so much you can do to change the outcome of a game, but there's always ways you can improve and have your impact be felt. If you want to see another strategist guide, I already have a basic tips video and a Luna video, but I can also make new ones if you guys want to see that, and just let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more. And if you have any other questions, concerns, think I missed something, or want to just say anything in general, go ahead and leave that in the comments below too. With all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
I thought you were supposed to push it. Okay, but I gotta go back. I gotta go back.
Don't mess with the amazing
That was dumb.
What did you do?
That was bad. That was bad.
I do this.
Maximum beholds the god of
It was.
He died.
God damn. McKeezy. It's fucking Iron Man.
I got it. Watch this. Watch this.